Hello, hotties. We are going to have the best day, the best week, the best month. I can feel it. Do you want to know how I know that? Because I know fucking everything. And I know that you are going to love today's episode because we have some actionable things for you to focus on that are going to make a huge impact in your business. You know, as part of my sales strategy, I browse Facebook groups every single day, twice a day, and I will look for work and comment like an offer or a service of mine, or I'll pitch clients. And I will say that has been game changing for my business. I kind of see this as well, like, I don't know if SEO would be the right way to describe it, but it's like, you know, if someone is going into a Facebook group looking for email marketing, they may, instead of putting up a post asking, they may just search existing threads. So don't ever see that if you do that, it's lost. Because I know for me, the amount of times that people are like, I saw you put your services in a group, that's how they found me, and I know that they were not the person who originally asked. So there is just a little fun tip to get you started with, which I guess it's a little bit related to what we're talking about today. But back to the Facebook groups. I see this all the time that people have a really good business. They have the makings of something incredible. But the problem is they usually are focused on finding the one thing that's going to make the most amazing impact, when the thing is, in business, there is never just one thing. You know, for example, this would look like someone who's just like, I just want you to tell me like how I can say one thing, and then all of a sudden my business is going to explode overnight, and I've gone from having like 500 followers on Instagram to 50,000, or, you know, just tell me the one thing or the one email that's going to make me 20 grand, whatever it is. And I feel that a lot of us get stuck on that, thinking that we are just like after this like whale of an idea that's going to make a huge impact. The good news for us is, you know, if we could spend all this time looking for a fucking whale, or we could just spend 5 minutes tweaking one thing or bringing awareness to a part of our business that, you know, is the reason why this is happening. And what I mean by that, you know, a lot of the times we overlook things, not seeing that everything that we overlook is actually collectively causing the problem that we do not want to have. What I mean by that is, you know, if we are relying on, say, email revenue to bring in all of our money, let's just pretend that that is our top email strategy. It can be really easy for us, if we do not have the revenue desired, to be like, well, our emails aren't working, emails fucked, and to kind of get all like doom and gloom and catastrophize it. But when we can kind of like zoom in and look at each area, it's like, well, maybe we didn't have a call to action. Maybe the click-through rate is bad because the button is not, it doesn't really stand out. Maybe we actually haven't been promoting our list as much as we should have. Maybe we have stopped the frequency. And you can see there, when we kind of zoom into little areas, how if you just put a little bit more awareness into each one of those little parts, how that is going to really drastically affect the profit in your business. And we all have things that we can focus on with this. So what I was thinking about is, you know, if there were 5 metrics that I could get you, I think metrics is the right word. Oh my God, I've been scratching my chest and it looks really red. What am I doing? It looks like I've been digging for gold in my body, like I'm trying to get like a demon out or something. Oh my gosh. Anyway, maybe let's just rephrase this, as this shit is so good. It is just like, I'm itching to get it out. There we go. Knowing me, I'll come on to the next week's podcast episode and be like, hey guys, so I actually had a really contagious rash. All right. Love that. So if you focus on these 5 things, I'm not going to say that every single thing is going to be relevant to your business. I'm not going to say that everything here is going to, you know, double your profit. It could. And if that happens, love that. But I know that there are going to be probably at least 2 of these that if you focus on is going to make a difference in your business. And all we're going to do today is bring some awareness to it and a little strategy. So the first we are going to focus on is something email related. And that is, depending on what you're measuring, your click rate or your click through rate. Okay. If you focus on boosting that up, and driving more traffic to your website, you will naturally sell more things, okay? Because you are pushing people along in that sales pipeline where they have then gone to the next step. You can see here how sometimes when we really obsess about sales with email, but we don't actually obsess about the thing that is going to drive sales with email, how we can start to feel really helpless. So knowing that if we just focus on our click rate or our click-through rate, again, depending on what you are focusing on with your email marketing, and I'm going to say for most of you, it's going to be your click rate. For seasoned marketers, you're like, let's just focus on everything. But how can we boost that up? Now, the first thing that you are going to have to do with this, and I guess everything that we're covering, is you need awareness. And for that, you need data. So it would be really good for you to go into your email software and to have a look at, say, your last 8 to 12 to 15 campaigns and see if you can benchmark your own click rate. We don't want to be looking at what other people are doing and base what we should be doing on that. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to like launching Give Good Email, we always share amazing statistics and metrics. And, I could be sharing a client got a 61% click rate. I don't want you to think that that is what you should be aiming for. What I want you to do is I want you to look at what you've got and be like, what would be something really awesome to aim for? So if you are a 1% click rate, what would it look like to double that and go to 2%? And that may feel like it's not going to make a dent, and it absolutely is. But we need to just ask ourselves, if we are wanting to actually move and not be like paralyzed and overwhelmed, aiming for a 50% click rate is going to do that. And that's also madness. Focus on that 2% or focus just on an increment that is a bit more than what you're doing. And then ask yourself, what are 3 things that you could do that you think that could raise that? So if we're looking at a click rate, one of the easiest things to do is to have a shorter email with one call to action. So if you are doing something where people have to scroll, how can we shorten the email and literally just write about one thing and have that be really definite? Another thing you can do as well is do the squint test. So hold your phone away from you. If it's easy for me, I just take my glasses off. And I want you to squint and, walk through the house, hold your phone. And if you can't see that call to action button, you have to make it stand out more. So that if someone is quickly going through their phone or their kids are like being like, Mom, we need a snack plate, that stands out. Okay. That's another thing. The third is making sure that you are not putting too many options within the email that is going to overwhelm people where they feel like that then they have to go back to it. So what we want to do here is just have this like definite path to purchase. Another thing you can do is put it above the fold, which means as soon as someone opens the email, so they're not having to scroll, you can just put that click right there so that they can see exactly what they need to do and go to that next step. You can see here how this feels really easy on paper and how sometimes, again, with email, when people are, oh my gosh, I'm not making any money. It's like, that's fine, but we don't want to kind of stay in that catastrophized state. Let's actually focus on something that is going to make a big impact. And you'll notice here how I'm not even talking about selling and making money. We're just talking about part of the funnel, which is getting people to go to that next step. The second thing that you are going to focus on is your customer lifetime value. So this means that when someone comes into your business, what is the expected lifetime value that they are going to spend within your business? This will shift and this will change depending on the products and services that you're selling. And what I mean by that is, I know for me, we this year have had a huge influx of clients come through because I have started to sell a lot more low-cost items. Now, because of that, my customer lifetime value has gone down. My customers have gone up. So this is fine. But what then this shows me is, okay, sweet. We have a lot of people coming in. Let's actually make sure that we are keeping these people as a customer instead of just getting into this business model where I'm selling shit that's under $50 and forgetting about the stuff that I have that was a couple $1,000s. Now, when you look at your customer lifetime value, this also can trigger things for you where you're like, oh, this is awesome. I've realized that there is a spend that we have with this particular group of customers. This could trigger for you a potential offering idea. This could even change your brain chemistry in realizing that people actually spend money within your business. What I mean by that is, I had a conversation with a client the other day and she said to me that she doesn't really have any like high roller spenders in her business. And I'm like, you absolutely do. And she's like, no, I don't think I do. People don't want to spend money. I need these bigger ticket clients. And I said to her, I encourage her to go back and look through one of the customers that she's had for ages, or clients in this case, because she's service-based. And I said, look at their spend that they've spent with your business over the lifetime that they've been with you. And for her, it was $65,000. And I said, I want you to just sit with that energy that you have a $65,000 customer. And then from that, you'll show up differently with your call to actions on socials, how you pitch, everything in your business will change. So you may find that looking at this data, because it's something you've never looked at before, how you actually will hold yourself in business differently and you'll pitch differently because you now have that data behind you to realize that you're actually a fucking badass. So that's one thing. Another thing that you may do is realize that your customer lifetime value isn't actually really that great, which isn't really reflected in the fact that you do have higher priced services, so people aren't going to the next step. One really simple thing that we can do here for every time someone purchases an offer, if we aren't consistent with our email marketing, is to have post-purchase flows. And this just means that when someone buys one thing, that we have a flow that onboards them. And the easiest thing that we can do here is then onboard them to that next offer. Now, you can choose to do this in an automated way with emails. You can choose to do this with regular campaigns. This can even be something depending on your business that you do manually. Where I would advise this to be done manually, if you are a business that has lower sales per month, but they're really high spend. So if you're doing we've got 4 sales per month that are around $2,000 to $10,000. Have that as a conversation in person. Catch up with your clients for coffee, repitch. It's the new financial year. What can you do here? But this is just going to give you an idea of where things are at in your business and what is happening with the spend in your customer. Because it's really easy for us to kind of fall into the trap of thinking and that we need more people. And I see this a lot in social media land, where a lot of people assume that their business is going to be saved if they have an influx of 10,000 people overnight on Instagram. And let me tell you, it's not going to do anything if you don't have a sales strategy and you're not continually selling to your customer. So this can be a really good way for you to look at everything happening in your business, fix it now, knowing that if you have that strategy moving forward, that is going to scale. So you may discover that there is something really easy that you can implement for your customer lifetime value. This could look like something where you have a lot of low-cost offers. You realize what that low-cost offer entry point is. You're like, okay, sweet. We should really do a post-purchase flow here that then sells them that next step. And then, or maybe we're going to have a webinar every quarter for people that have purchased this thing. Or maybe I'm going to reach out to every single person personally and pitch them this next thing. Again, this is going to depend on your business. And let's implement that thing. That could be the reason that your business profit doubles. And then imagine if that is so successful for you moving forward, this can be something that you can keep implementing, and that result will continue to grow and scale. So don't feel that you need more people to have a successful business, because this is about looking at the data that we have right now and being strategic with the data that we have right now. So go and find your customer lifetime value. This is easy if you use Stripe, whatever your payment processor is, there should be something where we can easily find this. And just be like, again, what are 3 things that I can do to either boost this up or just make it, boost it up or add some awareness and make it a little bit better. Remember, it's not about making these huge moves, but you can see if we are just doing this across the board, little progressions, how this is going to really dramatically boost your business. The next is your average order value. Now, this is something for e-commerce, but service-based can do this as well. One of the easiest things that we can do is to just see how we can boost our average order value, which means if we look at all of the orders that are going out, what is that average? I feel like I'm just repeating myself here. But what is the average order? So it could be for you that it's sitting around $60 or $50. What do we really want it to be? And what can we do to kind of boost that up? Now, if you are e-commerce, this is where you can have different plugins, where it can have recommended products, it can bundle things together, it can make suggestions. But there are other things that you can do as well, where, if you have something where you do free postage for orders over $150, is that written down? If you have something where two products would be bundled together, do you have that easily identifiable? Are you pushing that forward? Quite often, what I see people do in business is we want to lead with the lowest cost thing first. But what we need to remember is people are coming to us for a solution or a transformation. So, how can we kind of present that to them? What this can look like is you could have two products that would be perfectly bundled together, but you're not kind of positioning that. This can be something where this is a simple little website tweak where you're just looking at, rearranging products around, making this first, highlighting this on whatever page, or just making things known. You can look back through data depending on how big your how big your store is. And you can be like, what are people buying? What makes sense? Who are these people? And just kind of do a bit of a deep dive into your customer. Another thing that you can do is if you are service-based, you can add an order bump. So we want the order bump to make sense. And one thing that has worked really well for me is that if it is something where it feels like, yeah, this is just, it's proportionate to what they're spending on, and it feels like it's not that much more. So I have my email marketing starter pack. We have an order bump of Who Are You Becoming? And currently these are priced at $85 and $35. There is a really high uptake of people buying the email starter pack and then adding the $35 offer. Do I think that would work switch around the other way? It wouldn't be as effective. Would it work? 100%. There would still be some people that would have an order bump adding something higher. Do I think it'll work? Probably not as effectively without it being really small, okay? So this is where if you are service-based, you can experiment with order bumps where people can bump their order at the checkout. There are ways that you can do this, and it's going to depend on the tech that you have. There are things where, you can press buy now, it leads you to another page, and it's like, hey, do you want to add this thing? How we do it is if you go to my website, professionalbabe.com, and you click on buy, give good email, you'll see this in the checkout, where currently we have linked my content marketing course for 50% off, which is wet patch content, where if people buy give good email, they can then bundle and they can add that on as well. So how we're going to fix this is firstly, we need to have awareness. What is our average order value? And then from there, we need a little strategy to boost it up. Remembering it's not about doubling, it's not about tripling, it's about how can we just make this a little bit higher? And again, look for those 3 action steps. That first action step could be, let's just look and see what people are buying, and is there something that they're bundling together that we didn't think of? Because sometimes when it's our business, this stuff is just pressed so close to our face, we forget about it. You may even find that, like, for example, if you've got an underwear brand, that you find that people are buying, like, say, 2 to 3 G-strings at once, and they're buying all different colors. You may be like, why don't we put together a little bundle pack where they get like the best of, and they get like 4 of the best? And we can position that as this is a really awesome offer for you to start off with. You can do stuff like that. Just put it out there, see. And what you'll find is you could get an uptake. And again, it's going to boost your wonderful average order value. The next one is especially important for people that are service-based businesses. And I've got some stats here, and it's called speed to lead. And it means that if you have a lead, if you have this new person that finds you, how quickly can we qualify that lead and push them on in the sales cycle? So I think this is why things like ManyChat are trending, because it's something where if someone follows you on Instagram and they comment a word, that they are basically pushed so quickly into that sales funnel. Now, I found some stats. This is from the website, I think it's chilipiper.com, where it says 78% of B2B customers purchase from the vendor that responds first. I'm going to say there are caveats here where this is going to be, say, if someone is after a service, they're pooling a number of people and they're not too focused on going to a particular person first. Responding within the first minute increases lead conversions by 391%, and after 5 minutes, the odds of qualifying a lead drop by 80%. The average B2B's business's speed to lead is 42 hours, and only 27% of leads ever get contacted. Like, what the fuck is that about? So this is where, as a business, you can be like, if people are finding us and we are getting traffic and we are getting people contact us, what can we do to speed up that process? Now, I know that there are going to be some people who are like, oh, but I want people to make a conscious buying choice. That's fine. You can still do this in an ethical way, but you also want to remember that you're running a business, and babes, we're here to make money. So we want to make money and we want to respond and serve our customers so quickly. The easiest thing that you can do is to make sure that anything that you do is as much as it can be automated. Use ManyChat if it's going to help you. Use email marketing if it's going to help you. But look at, especially service-based baddies, if you have someone contact you for work, what can we do to kind of push something out there and make it automated and get information out to them really fast? So if we were, say, collecting information and submitting a proposal, can we get that information as soon as they press submit? Where it's like, hey, we've got a new work inquiry. We've got an email that's automated that's sent out to them where it's like, hey, love that you're interested in working with us. Ask them 5 questions. And on those 5 questions, that can be something that you would have asked in person, but you are now gathering that information. They hit reply. There's an autoresponder that goes back out to them where it's like, great, we've got that. We'll be in touch tomorrow with a quote. And if need be, we'll organize a call, whatever it is. I think a lot of the time we really want to have this high touch service where we're like, oh, let's make this perfect and bespoke. People just want to make sure that they are heard and that they're getting the information that they want. I don't think that we need to fondle the fuck out of everything manually. I think this is where sometimes we can be like, if we were to have 100 times the amount of work come in or leads come in, how would we need to actually make this more efficient? And then this is something that we can start to do in business now. And then the last one, potentially maybe a little bit harder for us to track, but it is our lead conversion time, depending on if we are using like a CRM software or the capabilities of our software that show us this. But we want to be tracking if someone discovers us and they are a new lead, how long it actually takes for them to give us money. So if someone hops on our mailing list, you know, how long are they on my mailing list for before they purchase something? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a day? If we have, again, a new person that contacts us, how long does it take for us to actually close that gap and to get their money? So again, this is going to depend on the capabilities of our software for us to work out how long this is going to be. What can you do to shorten that time frame? This is something where if you have emails that go out that help this along, instead of them being drip fed over a week, why don't we put them down to 5 days? So there's a contact every 5 days instead of every 7 days. Maybe you move phone calls ahead. Maybe we just add another touch point, whatever it is. But how can we, if it's, say, taking us 45 days to convert, what would it look like to go to 40? What would it look like to go to 35? We're not trying to make this happen in 5 days, but we are trying to just lessen that. One of the things may be that you actually have no idea, and that this is going to be a piece where we are just going to bring a bit more awareness to that, or we're going to be like, how can we kind of monitor leads? I think one of the biggest mistakes that we do is we wait for people as well to define the relationship, and we put everything on our customer, forgetting that we are the business person, and before we are the business person, we are a salesperson first. So if you find that there is a really long time for someone discovering you and someone buying, how can we put our salesperson hat on, and what will this look like? Is this a conversation? Is this something that we are going to do that's going to be automated? What is it? If there is a challenge that you want to do from this episode, be bold. I want you to have bold fucking action. And if something feels big and scary, if you were listening to this and an idea has dropped in and you're like, oh my God, I want to do that, go and fucking do it. If you're like, I want to host a webinar Friday in like 5 days from now, I'm going to invite people, and like all of these leads, I'm going to personally invite them, go and do it. If you are like, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to ring people, oh my God, go and do it. If you are like, I'm going to go and email these people, go and do it. If you're like, I'm going to completely just change the format of my newsletter just as like a wild card and send that out, and we send these long, beautiful newsletters, I'm going to be bold and make this short and sweet with 6 sentences. Go and fucking do it. Go and do it. We're in business. Just go and do it. See what happens. Get the data. Try something new. Be open to the possibilities and fucking amaze yourself, babe, because you are amazing with an amazing business, and this is a season for you to go and make money, get that cash, get that bag, buy all the things, and be awesome. Oh my gosh, I love you. I love you so much. I love you more than the beautiful tulips that I'm looking at right now. They are this gorgeous fuchsia color. I also love my nails, which is the same. We are in the season of pink. That's next to my pink candle. Obsessed. Bought a gorgeous coat on the weekend with my credit card points. Love that. Do you know what I don't love? The fact that the coat cost me $350 and it redeemed 71,000 points. Those point credit cards could be a little bit more generous, because I worked out that I had to spend $71,000 in my business to get that fucking coat. And it's a nice coat. I don't know if it's worth that much though. I love you more than that. And I love you more than the Palm Royale. Palm Royale? I'm sure it's called that. It's on Apple TV. I got like 3 months subscription for free with my new laptop. Fucking obsessed. Obsessed with everything of that era. The fashion is amazing. The acting is incredible. Love it. It has been a good little, let me just switch off from work and focus on something else binge. So hot stuff. I love this so much. Go get that bag. Focus on those 5 things. Remember, we're not going to make it so epic. We are just going to aim for a little bit of improvement in every one of those areas, or 2 of those areas, or you know what? 1 of those areas. I love you.